What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to show you guys how to do your own windshield chip repair using one of these DIY kits. So before we really dive into the nuts and bolts of this video, I just wanted to say something real quick, and that is any of these kits that I'm going to show you, any kits this style, any of these like DIY chip repair kits, first of all, they're not going to fix an 8-inch crack in your windshield. So if you have a giant crack in your windshield, you need a new windshield. Second thing is, if you have a chip that is 1.25 inches or smaller in diameter, that is what you want to use on one of these kits. If you have a giant chip that is 3 inches across, it's not going to work for that. So let me bring you guys over to the bench. I'll show you the kit that we're going to use, and I'm going to show you guys how to repair a chip. So this is the chip repair kit that I'm going to be using. This one's by Permatex. I'll link it down in the description for you guys if you guys are interested in it. But as far as what it comes with, it's fairly complete. It has pretty much just about everything in the package to obviously repair your chips at home. So this is what we got in the kit. So this is everything you're going to need to repair the chips. And then here's your instructions. So we're going to pretty much go over the instructions verbatim in this video as far as how to repair these chips. So if you follow this video step by step, you really shouldn't need these. So as far as what we got in the bag, got an alcohol wipe to clean the windshield, a syringe, double-sided adhesive, an adapter, the actual repair resin, a curing strip, razor blade, and a push pin. So let me take you guys over to the car, show you guys what I have as far as a chip, and let's get this thing repaired. Okay, so taking a look here, guys, right there by my index finger, you can see the chip in the windshield. Now, there's going to be two reasons why you're going to want to fill this. Obviously, the first one is going to be visibility. If you fill this with resin, it's going to be a lot harder to see it from the driver's seat, and if it's a lot harder to see it, it's a lot less distracting. You get a clearer view of the road. The second reason is, if you guys live in a cold climate, potentially what can happen here is you could get moisture that will go down inside the chip, and when it gets cold outside, that moisture will freeze. Well, if it freezes down inside the chip, it'll spider crack the whole windshield, or at least make the chip a lot worse than what it is now. So it's in your best interest to basically fill this when they're small, because let's face it, they're only going to get bigger. Okay, so the first thing we got to do to this chip is go get the push pin out of the kit. And what you're going to do is you're going to feel the windshield, and you'll feel like a rough spot where the stone actually hit the windshield. What you're going to do is you're going to take this push pin and you're going to go right in that rough spot and just kind of move it around a little bit and just dig at it very, very lightly. And what this is going to do is this is going to get all the loose glass out of that chip. And once you get all the loose glass out of the chip, we're going to blow it all out with some compressed air. So my can of duster. Blow that all off. The next step, we're going to get the alcohol wipe out of the kit, and we're going to wipe down this area of the windshield around the chip. So the reason we're doing this is we're getting everything off the windshield. So when we stick the double-sided tape to the windshield, it's going to have good adhesion. So it's going to have a nice clean surface to stick to. So let that sit for a few minutes, let that alcohol just evaporate on its own, and then come back and we'll stick down the double-sided tape. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our double-sided adhesive. First thing I got to do is you got to pop the center out like that. And what you're going to do is you're going to place this right over the center of the chip. So the chip will end up in the center of that hole. The tab on the adhesive goes toward the top of the windshield. So once you have the double-sided tape on the windshield, you're going to peel off just the top portion of the tape, maybe, if I can get it started. So now you're going to take your adapter and stick the adapter down. So we got everything stuck to the windshield. Next thing you're going to do is take your resin. You're going to twist the top off the resin, and you're going to dump the resin down into the adapter. So you're going to put most of the resin down into the adapter. You're going to have some come out the top. It's going to happen. You want to leave a little bit still in the resin tube because you'll need it for one of the later steps. What I'll do is I'll just take the push pin, stick the push pin in the end of the resin tube just to kind of seal it shut. So now you're going to take your syringe with the plunger all the way down just like this. You're going to stick that in the hole, and then you're going to pull up on the plunger. You're going to put that into the top setting, and we're going to let this sit for like 20 minutes like this. I'm not sure how well you guys can see this, but right now I'm pulling the vacuum with the syringe, and you can see those bubbles that are coming out around the chip. That's what you want, and this is really the big difference between one of these syringe style kits and some of the other kits that are out in the market that don't pull a vacuum. You typically get better results with one of these style kits that'll pull the air out of the chip before it pushes the resin back in. Okay, so now at this point, this thing sat here with vacuum on it for the better part of 15 minutes, and what you're going to do is you're actually going to pull the syringe out of the base, and that's going to let the air back in. Now at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to take the syringe and push down and latch it in the second position. So now you're going to let it sit for at least 20 minutes like this, and what that's going to do is that's going to push that resin down into that chip after you've already sucked all the air out. So after about a half hour, I went ahead and pulled the syringe, the adapter, and now the double-sided tape off the windshield. So at this point, you can see that our chip's pretty much filled in for the most part. So what I'm going to do is I'm wiping off this resin that went all over the windshield when I took the adapter off. And then what we're going to do is you're going to get your little curing sheet out of the kit, and what you're going to do is you're going to take a couple drops and put them on the chip itself, and then what you're going to do is you're going to lay this strip right over top of it. Once you do that, you're going to get all the air bubbles out using a razor blade or your fingertips or whatever you want to use. You just want to make sure that this strip is pressed tight against the windshield. After you get the curing strip on the windshield, as far as curing the resin that we put on the windshield, I'm just pulling the car outside and using the UV light from the sun to do that. Obviously, if it's sunny out, it's going to cure it quicker than what it is if it's cloudy out. The instructions say 15 minutes if it's sunny, a full hour if it's cloudy. The other thing that you can use is going to be a UV light. I've used them in the past. They work great. I'll link them down in the description if you guys are interested. But yeah, sunlight works just as well. After I let this thing cure for probably about a half hour out in the sun, what I'm going to do is you got to remove the curing strip. But to do this, don't just get your fingernail underneath it and just rip it off. What you want to do is actually take the razor blade and sort of cut it off. By doing this, what this is going to do is minimize the risk of you pulling any resin out of the chip. because what ends up happening a lot of times, if you just pull this, it's gonna pull resin with the curing strip. So by cutting it off, you're gonna get, like I said, less resin pulled out of the chip. So the final thing you got to do is just take the razor blade and just kind of skim across the face of the windshield. Make sure there's no bumps or ridges or anything in it. So when your wipers go back and forth, you don't end up with a streak in the windshield. There you go. So that's it. I'll show you guys what this thing looks like close up, before and after. One thing I can tell you guys is every chip is a little bit different. So therefore, how this stuff works is going to be a little bit different with each chip. Some of these I get done with them and you can't even tell anything happened. Other ones, like this one is okay, but some of them you can't even tell. And it really just depends on the type of chip that you're dealing with. So unfortunately, I can't, there isn't really anything you can do other than the instructions that I laid out in this video as far as how to do this. That's really about it. It kind of, is what it is with these DIY kits, but for 12 bucks, it gets decent results. So taking a look at the repair, guys, before and after, obviously, as you guys can see, the after looks much, much better than what it did prior. But with that said, it's still not perfect. So I believe the reason that this happened was I did not get all of the air out of the chip. So this can happen for one of two reasons. Either I didn't leave the vacuum on the chip long enough, or it's just based on the way that the chip is shaped that you couldn't pull the air out of the chip. It is what it is at this point. But as you guys can tell, it's much, much smaller than what it was before I started. And really for 10 or 12 bucks, the results that I got have been, pretty good. Just for reference, guys, to come out and repair this chip, I got a quote from Safelite. Safelite wanted $120 to repair what I showed you in this video, and I did it for about 12. So take that for what it is. Obviously, it's not perfect, but the nice thing is I don't have to worry about the chip getting any larger in this coming winter through the freeze and thaw cycles. All right, guys, so as far as my particular repair, there is one more thing that I could have done, and that was apply heat to the bottom side of the windshield on the inside of the car. What you can do is when you're pulling that vacuum with the syringe on the windshield to pull the air out, if you apply a little bit of heat to the inside of the windshield on the inside of the car, it can help, pull that air out and have it displaced, with resin. I didn't do that. The reason I did not do that is in the past, I have applied too much heat. And if you apply too much heat doing this, you will actually build pressure instead of create a vacuum. And when you do that, you'll blow the seal out around the double-sided tape. Ask me how I know. So that's why I didn't put it in the video, but yeah, you can do that, but use your better judgment on that. As always, guys, I'll have links down in the description to the windshield repair kits, as well as the duster and the hairdryer if you don't have a wife or girlfriend. But as always, guys, if you guys like the video, hit like. You want to see more content, go down and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.